Senate. The movement is still ongoing from Palestine to Jordan. But still, Psalm 106, verses 1, in this sixth week, on this 10th day of February, the first thing that comes to our hearts is at Aton Elugun, Alaru, where from distant end we can touch there. But the Lord has said in Psalm 106, verses 2, if possible, you be there with a two-wheel drive, be a power bike. But better still, God said, who can utter the mighty acts of the Lord, who can show forth all his praises, is why I hid in here.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس.
I wonder why it's always a Nas like your Nas. That's Nas is very important. Probably will tell Nas to be there. But I might be there tells you nothing can stand on the ways of millions of people in showing the mighty act of God. I better still, let's quickly move to the order of the day. Today, the voices are slow and CBS will making progress in telling the vision to the people and bringing their hearts that I actually is one more concerned on the act. I wouldn't like to go forward without introducing you to when iron sharpens iron. God said not to bend themselves, but to sharpen themselves. I can suspect another president of the world to show the mighty act is on the way. And I want you all to listen to the kind of voices behind her so that you can know what act you want to show, even as I, as head and permanent head of CBS.
Merkel has been the chancellor for nearly 16 years now. She doesn't make her personality a central element of her political persona. And I think that sets her aside from many of her international counterparts.
We have to do this in alliance.
A different approach than we see in the United States, where the personality of a political leader and private life kind of fuse into one. The relationship between Merkel and George W. Bush was actually personally quite warm. That was out of sync with some of the frictions that existed in the German-American relationship. They saw eye to eye on the fact that the United States and Germany needed to have a positive working partnership. There were a number of areas, though, where they disagreed. Chancellor Merkel has placed an emphasis on climate change, and she was often frustrated by the unwillingness of the Bush administration to go as far and as fast. When Barack Obama was a candidate for the presidency, he held a major rally in Berlin.
I come to Berlin as so many of my countrymen have come before.
And Chancellor Merkel was quite worried about Germany becoming a stage for the American election campaign.
Through the global financial and economic crisis, we've seen how interdependent we are.
Germany has famously had a policy of fiscal conservatism, whereas the Obama administration had a very different view.
We discussed the importance of boosting economic growth in the Eurozone.
In the crises that they faced together, Merkel and Obama forged a very strong and positive working relationship.
Taking leave from my partner and friend, well, yes, it is hard.
Yes, partner, we have iron to sharpen iron. EFCC today, World Bank new headquarters registrations at the World Trade Center's floor 27 is signed into act from Shiloh, and now 6 days since the 5th day of February 2023. I am taking hold of all steps into a city where it should have been. Sitting as God, showing himself as God, that I as God might finally be taken away. But that is not the purpose of the children of God. That is not the purpose of those who fear God. And that is not what is easy to be carried out, because the purpose of God is what we must depend on, that when we depend on and we can actually pave way for the brighter future, break the frontier and repair the world. Changes then starts. These are yet the hope of the far left, of which distorts the purpose of God, that his children to not be revealed in large quantity. Otumba envoy is coming around of a greater Lagos. Congratulations to Fauci, World Health Organization, but I insist a usual legal process of office holding. But still, I had just signed the executive order number 14th of 2023 on the facilitation and management of presidential transition. The new executive order puts in place a legal transformation framework for the seamless transition of power from one presidential administration to another around the world. Transformation and transforming power of kindness and passion. Today, there is no hiding place for a golden fish. Was why I said, I have set my rainbow in clouds, and it will be the signs of covenant between me and the heads. Definitely, we are towards paradise restoration. Jesus answered, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. He went on in this aspect to define the transmission of power and his kindness. The people's response to his miracle testifies to Jesus' great care for others. He had done all things well, no problem or burden was too much for Jesus' careful consideration. The Lord treats each other with us with kindness and passion. He treats us all equally. He called us to treat one another in like manner. The Holy Spirit, Hamad, of which I am, will dwell within all of us. He has spoken this love from my mouth, and I claim it all. Do you show kindness and compassion to your neighbors, and do you treat them with consideration when they open Jesus and believe that they are the royal body of Ondo? As we move on, this compassion is within us, and better still, could there be anything so important more than this? Find a Bible-based institution and give the first place. I wouldn't like to go. That lets me hear.
So I want to thank you for your friendship, for your leadership, and your commitment to our alliance.
Merkel took a very careful approach to the Trump administration. She tried early on to create a productive working relationship.
Wir werden über Handelsfragen sprechen, über multilaterale Fragen, fairen Handel, die Handelsorganisation.
I think she was also pretty quickly disappointed.
Wiretapping, I guess, by this past administration. At least we have something in common, perhaps.
A characteristic, though, of the Trump administration.
Until next time, see you around.